You're watching Friday's AT show. Still to come this afternoon, I go back to my roots to answer some of your gardening questions. But before that, we saw him earlier performing his latest hit single, and now he's back for a chat. Please welcome Sir Cliff Richard. Before we go any further, I've got to congratulate you because the new autobiog, My Life, My Way, straight to #1 in the non... Well, you know why? It's because they all bought 7 each. That's why.
Probably have. That's how it works in my career. I've only got about 10 fans.
But you've always been a grafter. You've never taken them for granted. I mean, I think that seems to me to be one of your secrets, isn't it?
You know, I don't know what it is because, you know, the X Factor is a great title for a show because sometimes people become popular and there is a mystery as to why that person should have made it. And I am mystified by my own success. And I don't know why I'm still here. But grafting is a good word. You see, what happens is you can have a, you can have a gift and you can sing. And you can have success for a couple of years. But if you think that that's the way it's going to go forever, you really got it wrong. You have to just work hard at it. You have to do everything and do it all the time. I've been trying to slow down for about 10 years now. And it's very, very difficult, certainly in our rock and roll world. You know, if you make a record, then you have to do all the TV shows, all the radio shows, all the press. And it goes on and on. But you see, fortunately for me, I'm still excited by the whole concept of show business and being in it, and therefore I can still put up with it.
How does your life work out now in terms of, do you have sort of concentrated blocks of work? Like you're obviously now you're doing the book tour and the tour for the album and the single. So is it concentrated and then you go away and chill out in Barbados or whatever?
Yeah, kind of like, but it's always a bit like that. It's just that before, I'd finish a tour and then they'd give me a few days off and there would be other bits and bobs to do and I would just do things all the time. Nowadays, it's really quite nice because once I finish a tour, I can say, okay, I've got a couple of months, I'll get some sunlight and just disappear for a couple of months. But of course, even that is slowly changing. I went to Portugal. I always go to Portugal for my summer holiday. And this year, it was just like being at home. I did 2 photo shoots. I did about 3 interviews. I even did a bottle signing.
Because you said, last time we met, you said, I'm fed up. I said, why? You said, my wine's doing better than my music. The wine's such a success now, you know, that's become a...
Well, I don't know about how successful it is. What we've been successful at is making a good wine in the Algarve. The Algarve was never known for its wines. But there again, I don't make the wine. I have a winemaker, David Bavistock, who comes from Australia. Great pedigree of making wine over there, learned how to do port in the north of Portugal, came down and said, you're growing fig trees. I said, yeah. He said, why don't you grow grapes? He said, it's an easy choice. He said, you want syrup of figs or a nice glass of wine?
And he went for... You see, the enthusiasm was always there. There is this, which I confess it's something that I owe dear, it's trying to keep a bit of the child alive in you. It's what Beatrix Potter said. You seem to me to always have kept that kind of childlike enthusiasm. You've been very candid in the book. You know, Penny June has worked with you on it.
Yes.
And I saw a feature in the paper the other day that she was talking about interviewing and spending time with you and saying how hard you grafted and whatnot. You didn't pull any of your punches and she asked you all the old questions. I mean, I just wonder now, if you get impatient with people asking about your love life, because that's what they always come down on. Are you used to it now?
They tend to do that, but I always say to myself, particularly now, I don't have to answer anything I don't want to answer.
Yeah.
So I say, mind your own business. But there again, you know, Alan, I remember years and years ago when I did The Young Ones and I worked with Robert Morley. And then we sat together doing a TV show some years later. And he said the most outrageous things. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I could never say that. And now I find I'm saying them. There's a certain thing when you've aged. It's like a good wine. You get stronger. I get much more confident now. And I keep saying to the press, no matter how they try to fiddle around with my book, in the end, though, the only thing I hope that people will do is not believe necessarily what they read in the press. They're going to have to read the book to find out what I really think about things. But it's a funny area. It's a funny art form, journalism, isn't it? Because it's not true of all the journalists, because some of them are very serious about what they do and they write seriously. But some of them are really, I feel it's, dare I say it, it's parasitical. It's like they don't have any fame, so they find you or me or somebody else who's got some celebrity, and then they jump on your back and do everything they want just to use you to get themselves known. And I find that a little bit disgusting. But in the end, I've got to turn to every single one of them that have said nasty things and made up nasty stories. Thank you so much, because my book is #1.
Can you ever see a time when you will say, I'll go now while I'm still ahead? Because you're so popular, that's the difficulty now, isn't it? You know, the 6th decade, and you think, look, I've had 5, or I had 4 or 5. Isn't that in go while you're ahead? Will there be a point at which you will you know when to go, is what I'm trying to say?
The trouble with that statement about going while...
No. I know you won't know when he ought to go. Well, you will, but as long as he's gone by then, it's okay.
You know, when you say, let go while you're ahead, how do you know that you're ahead?
Well,
how do you know it's not going to get better
book.
tomorrow?
They're still buying yes.
So
well, when you see
I've given myself a different gauge, though. You know, I'll probably be the first one to recognize that I'm not singing like I used to. And I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to lose the dignity of all the things that I've collected over the years. And I still actually can sing okay. I love performing. And while I still have the 2 of those things going, I can keep my career going. But I will know, Alan, I will know it when I'm starting to sing bum notes left, right, and centre. And it's all right when you know you're singing it. It's like when you come off and you hear a record and you didn't know you'd sung.
Or when you had people around you who said, oh, Cliff, it's wonderful, lovely, don't stop. Have you got people around you who will say a word?
Yeah, usually.
You have?
Yeah, I do have that. You need that kind of support. I often wonder whether Elvis had that, because Elvis died far too young.
Yeah.
For a man that gave us, well, he pretty well gave most of us our careers. Yeah. And then he died in a very sad, unhappy manner. And I thought, I bet you he had no one saying, no, look, you can't just have 10 hamburgers a day. Someone should have said to him, look, hold back, you're really destroying yourself. But I've got people around me who care for me. It's like, I started my career with people like Norrie Paramore, who made so many hits happen for me. And Peter Gormley, my manager, you know, it wasn't just that they were business people. They actually loved The Shadows and I. And so they would just support us and say, look, okay, that record didn't make it, but we'll find the right one. And I'm not sure people get that support anymore. I am so glad I started when I started.
Well, we're quite glad you started when you started. We're glad about the book, we're glad about the record, but you are about to receive the ultimate accolade. You've been knighted by the Queen. We normally only give them to people who make honey or make wine or do things to do with Britain. We are giving one to you. Cliff Richard, you are most certainly one of 80's national treasures. Many congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, yes.
Straight in the downstairs loo.
Thanks. Oh, look, that's going to go right alongside the Knighthood medal.
Oh, good. I'm glad about that. Now, look...